Welcome to the Auditor Estate Uniform Accounting Network screencast for creating and managing roles in UAN. In this screencast, we will cover how to add, edit, activate, deactivate, delete, and display user roles. To navigate to the Roles area, select the General module, the Maintenance menu option, and then the Roles function. The Roles area will open to the right, listing all active user roles in UAN. The actions available in this area are add, edit, activate, deactivate, delete, and display. The Close button closes the Roles area. The Roles area is for adding and customizing new role types to UAN to allow individuals various levels of access. The starting role types are Administrator and Power User. You may not edit or delete the Administrator and Power User roles. The Administrator role provides access to all areas of UAN and is given to the person who sets up UAN, although other administrators may be added later. Administrators will be the only user type with access to the Users, Roles, and Departments Editor areas. Only administrators can remove other administrators, and there must always be at least one administrator in UAN. Power users have access to all areas except the Users, Roles, or Departments Editor areas. These preset starter roles will be enough for many entities who choose to allow only one or two individuals access to UAN. However, that will not be the case for everyone. Some entities will need to have roles with limited functionality, such as a role that allows only access to UAN's reporting and printing functions. In this case, you may use the Roles function to create a new user role with that limited access. To create a new role, click the Add button. A blank Add Roles form will open, displaying several sections, tabs, and buttons. They are the Name section, the Description section, the Accounting tab, the Payroll tab, the Budget tab, the Inventory tab, the General tab, the Active and Inactive radio buttons, the Belongs to Fiscal Office checkbox, the Save button, and the Close button. As usual, required fields are in green, optional fields are white, and read-only fields are the same color as the background. So first we're going to enter the name of the role you are creating. This name should be descriptive of the access you are granting. In this case, we'll create a role that only has access to UAN's reporting and printing functions, so we will call it Reports Only. Next, describe the purpose of the role in the description section. This description should be a short explanation of the need of the role. So we'll just put Reports and Printing. Next, you may set the role to active or inactive using the active and inactive radio buttons. The default is always going to be active. Next, if this role will belong to the Fiscal Office, click the Belongs to Fiscal Office checkbox. What this checkbox does is enable the Post-Print Utilities boxes and the Accounting Maintenance boxes to be checked in the Accounting tab. When unchecked, it will clear and disable all Post-Print Utilities boxes and the Accounting Maintenance boxes other than Display. For our example, we do not want to allow the role to use the Post-Print Utilities functions, so we'll leave this checkbox alone. So as you can see, if I check mark the box, Belongs to Fiscal Office, we have the ability to check the box for Post-Print Utilities. Anything that's lit up in blue, once I uncheck this box, will not be able to select, as you can see. Next, in the Accounting tab, select the checkboxes associated with the areas you want to give the user access to. For example, if you want the user to be able to display purchase orders, click the checkbox in the display column next to the purchase orders row. As you can see, I'll just select purchase orders there. You may select multiple checkboxes at once by selecting the checkboxes associated with the bold-faced section titles. For example, if you click the checkbox in the display column next to the Accounting, Transactions, and Utilities role, all of the display checkboxes will be checked. Similarly, if you uncheck the display column checkbox, all of the display checkboxes will be unchecked. Note that checking the section title checkboxes for Add, Edit, Delete, and Post-Print Utilities will also select all the display checkboxes. So I'll have to click Belongs to Fiscal Office again. As you can see, it selects all those checkboxes. However, deselecting these checkboxes will not deselect the display checkboxes. As you can see, the display checkboxes stay checked. Again, I'm going to deselect Belong Fiscal Office. Be sure to scroll down the Accounting tab to see all your checkbox options. For our example, we will select all report and display checkboxes for the reporting role. So as you can see, we need to select these display options, and here are report options. We'll give them access to accounting reports, all the ones that are departmental and non-departmental accounting reports. Looks like we've finished up with the Accounting tab. So next we'll click on the Payroll tab. Select the checkboxes associated with the areas you want to give the user access to. In this case, select the Display and Reports column checkboxes. Notice the Belongs to Fiscal Office checkbox must be checked in order for a user to have access to the editable payroll reports. So I'm just going to display all of our payroll transactions and utilities and payroll maintenance. Also our payroll reports departmental and our payroll reports non-departmental. Here are the editable payroll reports. You have to have the Belongs to Fiscal Office checkbox checked in order to grant access to the editable reports. We don't want to grant this user access, but we just wanted to show you that you have to check this box in order to check mark these boxes to grant access. I'm going to deselect those boxes and the Belong to Fiscal Office checkbox. Next, click on the Budget tab. Then select the checkboxes associated with the areas you want to give the user access to. In this case, select the Display and Reports column checkboxes. Next, click on the Inventory tab. Select the checkboxes associated with the areas you want to give the user access to. Again, select the Display and Reports column checkboxes. Finally, we'll select the General tab. We'll select the checkboxes associated with the areas you want to give the user access to. Again, we'll select Display and Reports checkboxes. We've granted access to all the reports and display options, so we'll review our work. If everything's accurate, click the Save button to save your work. If you click the Close button without saving, UAM will prompt you with a message asking if you want to save the role. Click Yes to save and close the form, No to close the form without saving, or Cancel to continue working. I'll click Cancel. If you save the role, UAM will display our message in the lower left-hand corner of the form stating the name of the role it is saved, and clear the form to allow you to add more roles. If you click the Close button after you saved your work, the Add Role form will close, returning you to the Roles area where your new role will be displayed. As you can see, Reports Only. Click the Close button when you are done creating new roles. To edit roles, select the checkboxes of the roles you wish to edit and then click the Edit button. So we're going to edit our Reports Only role. UAM will not allow you to edit the administrator or power user roles. I'll give you an example of that real quick. If I try to edit power user, we'll get our system message, and it'll say the administrator and power user roles cannot be edited, of course. So we'll say OK. I'll go back to the edit form now, and we're going to edit our reports only role. The sections and functions displayed are identical to those introduced at the beginning of the Adding Roles chapter. While you may not change the name of the role, you may edit the description field or change the active-inactive radio buttons or the Belongs to Fiscal Office checkbox as needed. As stated in the Adding Roles chapter, the Belongs to Fiscal Office checkbox enables the post-print utilities boxes and the accounting maintenance boxes to be checked in the Accounting tab. When unchecked, it will clear and disable all post-print utilities boxes and the accounting maintenance boxes other than display. Make any necessary edits by clicking into the appropriate fields and typing in the new information, or clicking the appropriate radio buttons and checkboxes. In the Accounting tab, edit the checkboxes associated with the areas you want to give the user access to. Again, you may select multiple checkboxes at once by selecting the checkboxes associated with the bold-faced section titles. So I can deselect the ability to display these purchase orders, payments, charges, receipts. If I only want to give them access to purchase orders and payments but not access to receipts, I can do that. Give them access to the bank rec. Just giving you a couple of examples here. Checking the section title checkboxes for Add, Edit, Delete, and Post-Print Utilities will select all of the display checkboxes too. However, deselecting these checkboxes will not deselect the display checkboxes. Again, we'll have to select Belong to Fiscal Office. As you can see, it will enable all the post-print utilities. If I uncheck these boxes, the display boxes will still say checked. Be sure to scroll down the Accounting tab to see all your checkbox options. Any other tab that you need to edit, payroll, budget, inventory, or general, you can edit as needed or deselect any access options. You may scroll between roles using the navigation arrows at the bottom left of the screen. The total number of roles selected will be displayed in a format similar to the one displayed here. If you have edited anything on the current page before navigating to another page, UAM will prompt you to save your work. Review your work, and if everything's accurate, we're going to click the Save button. If you click the Close button without saving your work, UAM will prompt you with a system message asking you to save the changes. Click Yes to save and close the form, No to close the form without saving, or Cancel to continue working. If you save the role, UAM will display a message in the lower left-hand corner, and basically it's just going to state the role it is edited and advance you to the next role you are editing if you're editing multiple roles. Click the Close button when you are done editing roles. To deactivate active roles, you may need to set the status filter in the upper left-hand part of the Roles area to All or Active to see active roles. It is default set to active, as you can see. Once you have set the filter, select the desired roles and then click the Deactivate button. So we're going to deactivate our Reports Only role. UAM will display a confirmation message in the lower left-hand part of the Roles area stating how many items it has deactivated. The deactivated roles will no longer appear in the active filter. Note that setting roles to inactive simply removes them as an option from drop-down lists in UAM. It also removes the roles from the display area when the filter is set to active. The roles are still present in UAM and may easily be reactivated. To reactivate inactive roles, you may need to set the status filter in the upper left-hand part of the Roles area to All or Inactive. Once you've set the filter, select the desired roles and then click the Activate button. So we're going to reactivate our Reports Only role. UAM will switch the selected role statuses from inactive to active and display a confirmation message in the lower left-hand part of the Roles area stating how many items it has activated. The activated roles will no longer appear in the inactive filter. So we'll have to switch our status back to active, and as you can see, our Reports Only role is back to active status. To delete roles, select the Status Filter drop-down menu and set it to Deletable. Next, select the desired roles and then click the Delete button. UAN will display a system message asking you to confirm if you really want to delete the selected roles. Click OK to delete the selected roles, or Cancel to avoid deleting anything. We're going to click OK. UAN will display a message in the lower left-hand corner of the roles area stating how many items were deleted. Note that the administrator and power user roles cannot be deleted, so I'll change my status back to active. If I try to delete my administrator role, UAN is going to give me a system message that tells me the following items were not deleted. Now you're finished deleting the selected roles. To display roles, we'll click on the checkboxes to the left of the roles you want to look at and click the Display button. We'll just select them all and click Display. The Display Roles form will appear showing the roles you selected for display in read-only form. If you selected multiple items to display, you may scroll between them using the navigation arrows at the bottom left of the form. Click the Close button when you are finished viewing the selected records. In conclusion, the Roles function allows you to delegate tasks safely to individuals who need access to UAN. While not often used, it is critical for controlling UAN's usage and integrity. The key points you will want to remember for creating and managing roles are: the administrator role must be assigned to the first user added to UAN, and at least one administrator user must be active at all times. The user assigned to the administrator role may only be deleted, deactivated, or assigned to another role if at least one other active user is also currently assigned to the administrator role. The power user role is identical to the administrator role, except that the power user has no other access to the user roles or department's editor areas. You may not edit or delete the administrator and power user roles. The Belongs to Fiscal Office checkbox enables the Post-Print Utilities boxes and the Accounting Maintenance boxes to be checked in the Accounting tab. Anyone belonging to the Fiscal Office checkbox is generally deemed as having a potential need for at least some access to adding, deleting, editing, posting, or printing fiscal transactions in UAN. Roles should not be designated with this character. Fiscal access is required, such as for someone who collects and posts receipts only for your entity. Thank you for using this screencast on creating and managing roles in UAN. For further information, you may contact the UAN support line at 800-833-8261 or by email at uan_support@auditor.state.oh.us.